we won't be able to come for you.
Dad?
In Florida, when gators don't become terrible quarterbacks, they break into your home.
I have a gigantic alligator sitting in my kitchen, a huge one.
An 11-foot alligator broke into her home through a low kitchen window.
And Crawl is the ultimate home invasion of alligators. All right, the movie is enjoyable as hell, but it's not as enjoyable as Godzilla. I'd say that was my 2019 most enjoyable silly movie was Godzilla, oddly enough, based on another lizard. Is Godzilla a lizard? Gotta be. Anyway, Crawl is good, but it's not as good as Godzilla. And that's because it seems more of the events that take place in Crawl are far more convenient just for the sake of storytelling, but they're not as badass as Godzilla was, right? So the movie starts out with this swimmer. I don't know anyone's name in this thing, but it basically surrounds father and daughter. They've been estranged for a couple months or a year or however long because of a divorce that happened between the parents. And so they have a good relationship. It's just, you know, they don't see eye to eye all the time, a lot of things. They're both very stubborn, is what they point out in the movie. And so this father and daughter, the father is at home in his Florida place, in his Florida house, and the girl, she's a swimmer further north in Florida. And there's this huge storm coming, and everyone is evacuating from this town that the storm is gonna hit, but the daughter decides to check on the father because her sister is like, hey, I haven't heard from dad, can you go check on him? Or I don't want you to go check on him, just please evacuate him. But then this main character daughter, she's like, no, I'm gonna go check on him, you know, I don't want him staying here. So she goes down to go see the dad, and the storm's already hitting, it's raining everywhere, flooding has started, and so she runs into one of her former friends, or he's a local cop in the area, and they basically have this road blocked off, and they're telling people, you know, turn around, it's flooded, you know, go around, which is a normal thing that happens in floodings. And so she decides to try to play it off, and he doesn't let her pass, so she goes an opposite route. And because he has other drivers that he has to worry about, he can't chase her down. So she goes along her way, and you know, so the story starts. And so when she gets to the dad's house, the place is empty, but she finds the old man downstairs in what they call a crawl space. I don't know about how many homes in Florida have crawl spaces this large, but this crawl space, in full quotations, was like, it was like a basement, like an actual, and like a huge basement. Because when I think crawl space, honestly, I think somewhere that you can get down into, but you either have to, you know, kind of crouch down or literally get on your elbows in order to move around in, like low crawl. This place, they're both able to stand up, and it's like the hull of a ship. It's so massive, and I was like, this is someone's house. This is like a football stadium. This is insane, right? So she finds her dad, and he's knocked out from doing whatever in the basement, his crawl space, and so. Right off the bat, within I'd say probably like 20 minutes of the movie, the flooding gets so bad that this crawl space, which again, a Florida home in a flood zone, and it has these cutouts in the foundation of the house, right? It's like windows, but there are these cutouts in the stone or cement of this house where all the water from the street could pour into this house. And it's why, who the hell would design a place like this? What contractor would put holes around your house when you're in an area that can flood? But anyway, so again, right then and there, done for convenience sake, right? Because if those holes aren't there, the water never comes in, and then the gators never come in. So all right, convenience right there, number one. And so the water, of course, rain doesn't stop. The dad comes too, but the water comes in, and then I think 2 or 3 gators crash through this cement. Okay. It crashed through this cement and with the water, and they're swimming around in this water with all these pipes and stuff with the father and the daughter. And the father's injured already, from whatever. I think he messed up his, oh yeah, he broke his leg. Like the bone in his leg sticking out through the shin, right? So, okay. So they're trying to avoid these gators, and the whole story is about them surviving, which is easy plot, easy to follow. You got the gators are the bad guys in the sense, and the father and the daughter are the good guys, right? So, and she is a swimmer she's on a swim team, but she's always kind of losing to this other swimmer or these other swimmers. She's kind of like not good enough as a swimmer, basically in her own head. And so that, of course, that's going to play on later in the movie, right? So the gators are in and they're harassing these people. And I'm not like an expert on reptilian behavior, but I don't think gators, if they're not hungry like any animal, I don't think they're going to actively seek out people to just harass and attack. They might be very territorial. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an animal behavior specialist. So they're swimming around in these places and they seem to actively go after the father and the daughter. And I swear to you, these people get dragged down under by these gators, by their limbs so many times. There's no way they would have survived half an hour into the movie, okay? Because the father, he's already got a broken leg, bleeding, okay? But he gets dragged down by the gator, and somehow they keep escaping with like flares or pieces of pipe, or something crashes down on the gator. And the whole movie is like this, where they're swimming around in this crawl space, and it's like that scene in Alien with the I think Joss Whedon's Alien 3, where the alien's swimming through into the water. It's kind of like that, where it's like this huge area where like there's no way this is a crawl space. This is practically an Olympic pool, right? It's massive. So the whole movie is just them trying to escape these alligators from this basement and from their house. And so once these alligators come in, they're trying to find a way out. But of course, convenience blocks off the stairs that she came down from initially. And then she tries to go out another way, and convenience is like, there's like furniture on top of this little latch, or this hatch, I guess, that leads up into the house. And so they're trapped both ways. So they gotta kind of work magic and figure out a way to outsmart these alligators. And it's just one convenient thing after another. And I actually fell asleep somewhere around the hour mark. And because it was just, literally, the gators would show up, grab one of them by the arm or the leg, drag them underwater. And I know for sure gators, when they attack you, they'll take you and they'll grab you and they'll go into a spin. That's how they kill their prey. They'll go into the spin, and most of the time their grip is so strong, they'll rip that limb off from all that spinning. Like they'll lose a limb, right? And then that'll be basically it for whatever they've captured. So, but not these two people. The gators do that a couple times, where they go into the spin and their arms and legs stay intact and they bleed a lot, but all this cold water, all this really dirty cold water, flood water, no infection, they don't die from hypothermia or nothing. And I was like, you people are superhumans. That's the only explanation why you haven't bled out or gone into shock. You know, you're superhuman. There's no other explanation for it, right? So, and just one convenient thing after another happens. Eventually, I woke up somewhere around, I only slept for like 5 minutes, I think, for like five minutes or so. And when I came to, there was a scene where they had an emergency flashlight, and there were some people across the way at the store when they were robbing the store. But these people had to sell like a little boat, right? A little boat that there were 3 of them. And they're robbing the store. They took the ATM machine and put it into this boat. And the one guy sees the flashlight, you know, blinking from the place. And oh, is that a thing? And water is like waist deep in the streets right now, right? It's waist deep. You can't see anything. The stop sign's practically, I don't know. So the guy's like walking away from the boat, and I'm like, well, he's gonna die right now. He's like, oh, then there's someone over there. And the woman's like, no, come on. So I'm thinking the guy's gonna go and he's gonna get, you know, dragged down and whatever. But instead, the gator's out there, because of course there's gators out there too. It's a gator free-for-all. It's a fire sale of gators. So the gator out there attacks the woman in the boat, drags her down into the water. The guy is like, oh shit, he gets dragged down into the water. And then the third guy is in the store still, collecting like sunglasses and stuff. It's like pouring rain. he's like collecting sunglasses and candy. And so he sees the guy go down, and then he's like, oh shit, and of course there's a gator in the little grocery store too. So he goes down, and so the woman, the main character lady, she sees all this. Of course she loses hope, and so they now try to find another way out. And eventually the guy that she was talking to earlier, the cop friend, he remembers that she was gonna go over there. So he and his partner, they're on, you know, a police boat of their own, and he goes to check up on her, and he actually hears her downstairs because they see him coming through this, of course, this hole in the cement flooring, and through the outer of the building. And so when he gets up to the steps that lead downstairs, he's calling out for her, and then he hears them. He hears the knocking that the dad's making on the pipes, right? And then he hears her telling him, oh no, you know, stay away, blah, blah. And so because, of course, convenience, he backs up, and he's like, no, she warns him about the alligators, right? She warns him about the alligators. He backs up, and so of course the alligator comes out of nowhere, shoots up out of the freaking basement steps, grabs him down. And so then no rescue there. But at the same time, his partner, who was safely in the boat, he sees some chains on some swings getting tugged, and of course he's like, I wonder what that is. He decides to get out of the boat, right? Gets out of the boat and to investigate, and of course, oh no, alligators get him too. So the alligators get him, and the alligators kill the cop partner. So now no rescue whatsoever, right? But so the cop had dropped his walkie-talkie. So that comes up later. So no rescue. So eventually they find some way to get up back. Eventually the dad, he fixed his own leg. Like he did something with some tools, popped his bone right back into his leg. Again, should have bled out a long time ago, gone into shock and done for. But no, they're superhuman. So they eventually find a way up into the main part of the house, like their living room or whatever. And they do eventually get out of the house, only to find out that now the levees have broken. So now the flood is even worse. No. They get out the house, and then they try to make it to that boat that that's right. They try to make it to that boat that the thieves were using, right? So they're trying to make it across this little walkway to get to this boat, and it's raining, it's pouring, and their whole thing was like, we have to try to reduce the amount of waves that we make as much as possible. Basically, as the rain is falling, the alligators won't notice the movement in the water because of the vibrations the rain is giving off. Okay, sure. And so as they're walking, the rain's pouring, and wouldn't you know it, right, as they get right in the middle between their house and this boat, oh no, the rain stops. The rain stops. Conveniently, the rain stops pouring, and now they're in the eye of the storm. And so now, oh man, if they make one movement, now the alligators are gonna know for sure they're in the water, because I guess gators can't see human legs. Oh man. And so they're like, well, we gotta hurry up and get to this boat. That's by the store. So they keep going, and at that point the father's like, oh man, I'm not gonna make it. You're the swimmer. Outswim the alligators to get to that boat. She does it, of course, because she's Aquaman, or she's Mira, or she's some kind of part fish human being. So she gets to the boat, and it seems like all glorious and stuff. Picks up the dad and their dog, of course, they got a dog, and so they're ready to get out of there. But no, that's when he hears the sounds for the levee blares, and the levees break. So all this extra water comes in, throws them back into the house. Boats turned over. They get separated. Dad is like in the stairwell or something. All their furniture is ruined, and there's water everywhere, chest high, and of course more gators come into the house. So they're right back basically where they started. So now the whole thing is, now they got to get to the roof of the house, because of course everything else is flooded out. And so the dad gets dragged under. He loses an arm finally from one of these gator bites. She gets dragged under, does not lose an arm after all the twirling with the alligator. And then they get to the roof after all this convenient stuff happens, because yeah, she finds the walkie-talkie, and she's able to communicate briefly for a little bit before the talkie, of course, dies. They're finally saved, and the helicopter comes down, and wouldn't you know it, they get up with the helicopter, and oh no, It's an alligator piloting the helicopter. Of course, that doesn't happen. That'd have been hilarious if that happened, but that doesn't happen. They get rescued, and that's a whole movie. And I got to tell you, it's a hilarious film. When I got done watching it, I thought it was like, what if the first Sharknado movie had tried to be a serious movie, right? And that's what this is, because it's very well shot. It's actually very well acted, and it's just the conveniences that take place in it with the alligators and then the whole rain and the flooding. It's all just, like I said, it's all very convenient. It's all very well done just for the sake of the story. But it is enjoyable. It really is. It really is enjoyable. I think had Sharknado, the first one, because the subsequent sequels of Sharknado were done just to be silly. So they suck. That's why they suck, because they tried to be intentionally goofy and they turned out being terrible. But had the first Sharknado tried to be a serious movie, it would have been Crawl, you know? It's really good. It's really funny. I suggest you go see it. Hilarious movie to watch. It's got a lot of tension in it, surprisingly. Even though, well, it's not tension. It's not tension. It's got a lot of obvious beats, a lot of obvious action that's going to happen. You can see things happening before they happen, but it's still enjoyable after they happen. You know, because these people are superhuman, so there's no tension of them dying in this at all. But definitely check it out. It's well worth the wait. It's only an hour and a half long, so it's super short. They know what they were doing. They weren't trying to make any kind of, you know, magnificent opus to alligator terror. You know, they weren't trying to make Jaws for gators. It just wasn't going to happen. So they knew what they were working with, and the time that they had to make it work, and I think they did a good job. I think they did a good job. I'd see it again. I wouldn't pay for it to see it again, but I'd see it again. So yeah, check that out. Let me know what you thought of it, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Ciao.